Hey YouTubers, I'd like to talk about pets in the shtf or wrol scenarios. I'm sure a lot of people have very strong opinions about theirs. I'll give you some pros and cons of having some pets. But first I want to tell a story about what happened last night in my neighborhood. My wife was coming home from work, and on her way from work, relatively close to the house, she saw a man walking down the street barefoot with a big dog and a chain. He was twirling chain around his head like a lasso. And as he was doing this, the dog was clearly stressed. You know, he was kind of crouched down and pretty scared. So she did the right thing. She pulled over. She actually made a U-turn, turned around, went into a parking lot to where she could see the guy and the guy could not see him. She called the police and she gave a description. The police showed up. The police in this town are absolutely wonderful compared to other places that I've lived. She gets back to the house. She tells me about it. At this point, we don't know whether the police have shown up or not. So I'm interested in seeing what happens. So I get her to show me where all this happened. We drive there. It's probably less than a 10-minute drive to where she witnessed all this happen. And I'm kind of looking around, seeing if I can see the guy or see blue lights flash or anything. I don't see anything. We kind of drive around the parking lot where the guy was for a little bit, and we don't see anything. So all this is about probably 10 minutes of searching for him, and we don't see anything. There's another accident down the road, so I just kind of assume that that's probably taking their priority, and you know, they're really not worried about this guy, and all the blue lights going to the accident probably scared them off. But anyways, we start heading back to the house, and we see two cops pulled over on the side of the road. Their lights are off. I roll down the window, and my wife's in the vehicle with me, and she asks if they found the guy. They tell us yes, and then we look in the back of the police car, and he's actually back there. Maybe an hour and a half after this, we get a phone call from the police, who then dispatches through to the Humane Society. They ask my wife a couple of questions, and she explains to them, you know, that they've never, that she didn't actually witness the dog being struck. Hopefully they have other witnesses that actually did see something, but again, the police in this town are really great, and I'm really surprised on how well they acted, and they're actually pursuing the case, and hopefully they can get this guy and charge him with a lot. The guy was on drugs. I don't know. They didn't say what drugs, but apparently he was very heavily medicated on something, because he didn't know his name. He didn't know where he lived. Only thing that he was telling them was his date of birth, which I don't even know if he was giving out, you know, the correct date of birth. But to see pets and stuff like that, if you have any pets, that's pretty rough to actually witness. And I know it bothered my wife a lot, and I'm sure if I saw it, you know, it'd bother me, because I have some pets, and you know, to know that there's not a good home for them, or that there could be a good home for them, and they're stuck in a situation like that, it kind of sucks. But again, to get back to the real topic, I'll talk about some of the pros and cons of having some of these pets. First, we'll start off with dogs, and then cats, and then just because those are the two most popular pets. At the end of this, please post comments. It would be great if people posted a video response, but a comment will work great. Tell me some pros, tell me some cons that I may have missed, or that, if you think I'm wrong about something. For a dog, obviously some of the pros would be their acute senses. I know some dogs will pretty much bark at anything, and that's actually a con. I believe it's a con. You don't want them, just yapping at every little thing. But if they're trained right, they won't bark at a leaf rolling by or just something silly. So another pro would be actual protection. If you have a relatively intimidating looking dog, then a lot of people will think twice, especially if a dog's trained in bite work or any agility or anything like that. And a con would be, for me, it would be their high. Some dogs have very high energy levels. I know if I were to have to be hunkered down in a shtf situation or something, and you couldn't actually leave the confines of your house and be exposed to the elements outside, after day 2 or 3, my dog would be going crazy. He would be running around, and then that's getting people stressed. So you would actually have to, at some point, not only for sanitary reasons, take a dog outside, but to get some of their stress levels down and being cooped up inside. And also another big con would be, that's one more mouth to feed. If you have a big dog, they can consume as much food almost as a person each day. So if they're not working for you, which could be a pro, if you get your dog to work for you, then they could earn their keep. But again, if they're not trained, if they're just not doing anything for you, it's just one more mouth to feed, and it's not actually benefiting you. A pro for some dogs, any terriers, any small dogs were actually bred, not to be put in purses, but they were bred to catch rodents, to catch small mice, to catch rats, and to actually burrow into small places. A lot of people think that if a shtf wrol situation were to occur, disease would just be going rampant. And let's say all this is true, mice or rats would just be running around everywhere. So a good way to control that would be if you had a small dog. That would help keep you, your family, anything that's inside of your home just a little safer from disease. Okay, now on to cats. Cats, again, just like small dogs, or I guess even larger dogs, could catch rodents, catch rats. But again, it's one more mouth to feed. You don't want to be giving out, especially any canned items or anything very nutritional that you could be giving to yourself or to your family, maybe to a pet. So just make sure that whether it's a dog, a cat, any animal, make sure that they just kind of help earn their keep. If you do some training with them, maybe just tell them to run around the house, act like it's a perimeter check. It could help out a lot. I think that's about it. And I'll hopefully have some more videos coming up soon.